Welcome. Ed Martin here in a Pro America Report. Hey, I got some interesting news for you. Thank you for tuning in. And don't forget, go to proamericareport.com. And, because of this program and because of the kind of stature and everything, I got invited onto Breitbart radio show this morning. A friend of mine, Alex Marlowe, the editor there, I sometimes write columns there. And, Breitbart radio uses the town hall news and all. And so I was writing for them and they asked me to come in. I filled in on that show. And I want to tell you about something, which only because of this great program and the Salem Radio Network and it was cool. So, by the way, don't forget, go to proamericareport.com, and get yourself all of our stuff and sign up for the Daily Wink so you get what you need to know there. So what I wanted to relay to you was that I had this interview that I undertook with Jay Ashcroft. So Jay Ashcroft is the Attorney General. Gosh, I can't believe I just said that. Jay Ashcroft is the Secretary of State of Missouri. He's the 40th Secretary of State. Great guy. He is actually a friend of mine for a long time, and super guy, and really nice man, and smart and all. And of course, his father is John Ashcroft, and his mother is Janet Ashcroft. Janet Ashcroft was a great friend of Phyllis Schlafly's, and Janet Ashcroft often told the story that she got the Phyllis Schlafly report in the mail and made sure that her husband, who was in succession, the Missouri Attorney General, then the Missouri Governor, then a U.S. Senator from Missouri, then Attorney General of the United States, she made sure that he read that every time. And so it was a great family. And Jay Ashcroft is married with 4 children. And he is a fascinating man because he started out as an engineer. He got a degree in engineering from Rolla, the University of Missouri. In Missouri, our sort of technical school there is Rolla. It's the University of Missouri at Rolla is what it used to be called. Now it's called Missouri University of Science and Technology, maybe something like that. But it's a very good school. It was actually once called, I think, the School of Mines, Rolla School of Mines, back 57 years ago. Very, very fine engineering school. Anyway, Jay Ashcroft gets a degree in engineering, which means he's sane. If you study engineering as opposed to going to college and studying some subject and get off track, he's very methodical, he's very smart, and he went to be a teacher for a long time. And so, good guy, and all that. Then he went on to law school in his sort of 30s or something. Well, now he's Secretary of State of Missouri. And when I had him on the show, I was interviewing him, and I'll get him on our show again here. And I said to him, Secretary Ashcroft, what keeps you up at night when it comes to the November election? And it won't surprise you to hear that he said, well, running a good election in this environment is a real challenge, meaning people are worried about illness, people are cheating. He didn't say cheating, I'm saying cheating at the polls. And then, of course, he segued to absentee balloting and mail-in ballots and the threat of those. So anyway, we went on for a long time, and we talked about a lot of things. And he was just very methodical. In fact, in the midst of it, I thought, that's an engineer. He talked about, he thinks of elections as logistics, a logistical challenge, because he said you got to get a person to get their ballot and get their ballot cast and then get it counted. And he said, that's how I look at this situation. So anyway, as we went through this, what I want to tell you, what you need to know is there's all sorts of noise. There's people being canceled. This guy, Nick Cannon, who is some sort of actor, he said some anti-Semitic things. He got fired, then he got rehired by somebody else. I don't know. We've got the NBA about to restart, and the players are deciding what social justice phrase to put on their uniform. On and on, right? The coronavirus hysteria has hit peak, CNN. And then, of course, there's some real numbers. The unemployment numbers are pretty tough. Some increase in unemployment numbers is tough. This is it's a wild time. But you, and we've talked about this, you and I have to cut through this to what you need to know. And when you listen to Jay Ashcroft, and again, I'll put it up at proamericareport.com and on social media, what he makes clear is we have to worry about the reality. In my opinion, is the left is losing. So they're losing. And then he said, you have to be aware that a lot of times leftists will try to damage the process to make it so people feel bad about our elections in this case. So he was talking about that. I'm putting more of my spin on it, but he was basically saying we got to worry about protecting our elections. And my point to you, I'll just tell you this, is the left is losing. They're losing it, meaning they're losing their mind. Yesterday, the Los Angeles Times published an op-ed, one of their contributors, that we should get rid of the Star-Spangled Banner in favor of Lean on Me, the Bill Withers song. Now, I'm not against the Lean on Me. I kind of remember it from my childhood. It's kind of a cool song. But replacing the Star Spangled Banner doesn't make sense. And my point in telling you that is when normal people look at that and they think, what? When normal people look up and they see Portland is now having part of their city be occupied by people that want to have lawlessness, and the mayor and the prosecutors and the cops can't stop it, they're looking up and they're saying, yeah, we can't have this. When they look up and they see Joe Biden's released now his plans, which are raise our taxes all across the board, and amnesty for illegal aliens to 2 to 20 million people. As more of this is known, it's a death rattle. It's a death rattle of the Democrat Party and the left. They know they're losing. So now when you're losing, you start to, as I told you the other day, start to look for other things. And one of the things the leftists will do is look to damage and destabilize. They did it with the Russia hoax. They really spent 2.5, 3 years of the presidency tying up lots of people, damaging lots of people. See Mike Flynn. So what Jay Ashcroft says and what you need to know is we've got to get focused on what's at stake and not just, oh, well, wow, here comes and somebody's canceled and this and that. Oh, there's a change in the campaign manager. Let me tell you something about campaigns. Every campaign I've ever known and been on, I've worked on, I've run twice myself. I've been involved in 10. Change in personnel and job duties is totally common. In fact, it would be surprising if the Trump administration didn't do that. The Trump campaign didn't do that. Brad Pasquale, the guy who was in charge and is still doing the digital, he's a kind of digital guy. The new guy is named Bill Stepien. He's a guy that's run lots of campaigns. That's kind of a natural shift. It's not odd. And media's like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. No, look, you're seeing the ongoing effort of the media to convince the American people that Trump is not winning because they can't believe it. Just like with Hillary, they're doing this over and over again. In fact, there was polling, I think it was in Pennsylvania, 57% of the people polled told the pollster that they believed there was silent Trump supporters who wouldn't answer the pollsters. What does it tell you if 57% tell you that? Say that to the pollster. In other words, some percentage of them are the part of that. So anyway, my point is, as they're stumbling to this election, as Joe Biden has to get out of his basement and speak, and it gets more and more confused and more muddled, and they start to lose, and they know they're losing, one of the things they're going to do is try to steal it and try to destabilize the election. So later on in the show, I told you we'll talk about what you need to do, the window. So what you need to know is we have a problem with the election, and it's far enough away now, 100 plus days. It's about 110 days, whatever it is, 16 weeks from 2 days ago. And now we have to plan on how to help with this, on how to become a part of the solution. Because mail-in ballots, I asked Jay Ashcroft, Missouri's Secretary of State, I said, Secretary Ashcroft, can we ask our local election officials to post online, to stream online, the counting of absentee ballots, the counting of mail-in ballots, so that we have eyes, many eyes, on the people who might be committing fraud. And we have eyes on many of the things that might be, looking the other way if there's problems. And he said, yes, it can't be done, he thought, by the federal government. It has to be done by local jurisdictions. But we can start demanding it. If you're going to stream, I don't know, the city council meeting, which is fine. They're doing that. They're streaming, they're doing most of these meetings by Zoom. Anyway, we are streaming. We have Congress on C-SPAN. The Supreme Court is doing their oral arguments on audio, at least on C-SPAN. We can stream. We should stream all of these election areas, the big ones, the counting ones. So anyway, at the end of that, Jay Ashcroft said, Ed, I got to tell you, I said, what do you need? He said, I need more people. He said, I need more people who are conservative, who believe in the rule of law, who will step up and will actually play a role in November at the polling places, in the election authority's offices, wherever that may be. That's what he asked for. I have to tell you, I've already done, and earlier today I went online, I made sure I've already been a volunteer outside of the polling places canvassing for my party. I'm now going to go and get registered to be a poll worker and get inside and spend one day. If I can, I'll spend days beforehand trying to be involved in the absentee ballot counting and the mail-in ballot. We have to do that. You're going to hear me talk about more and more. The noise will be about all sorts of other stuff. There'll be about Trump's tweets. There'll be about Trump's staff. There'll be about Trump's this, Trump that. Forget about it. we focus. We know what's at stake. We know what you need to know, and we know what we need to do. So that's what we have to do. All right, we got a bunch of great interviews today. We'll get to them in just a moment. Don't forget, proamericareport.com. It's Ed Martin. We'll be right back.